We are almost about to begin. I am muting the music for a few seconds. Just to say that I'm almost about to begin. It will be less than 10 minutes. So, just double checking that everything is working because a lot of times that's not happening. And it does seem that it is. That's great. Change it then. Here. Grabbing my coffee. Hello, and welcome to my stream. We are gonna read today. I kind of changed the schedule for today to 8 because I need to make some phone calls and everything like that. And I just want you all to know that I'm not pretending to be something I am not, or at least I'm not trying to pretend. I make mistakes like everyone else. So where am I'm going with this actually. I feel convicted because I think I should have said, sorry, I'm running late, instead of just going in and changing it to 9. And no, whatever it did look like, it wasn't because I was trying to trick anyone. I figure nobody's gonna watch my stream anyway, nobody's gonna show up anyway, so I might as well just change it to 9 and fix everything I need to do. And I guess in that moment, as I was taking a shower, waking up, I spent the 30 minutes extra. I even didn't realize that it was 8 for some reason. I thought it was 9, like it always was. I needed some extra time with the Lord this morning. But I should have just wrote a message. Sorry, I'm running a little bit late. I'll be there at 9 minutes, at 9 or something like that. And I realized that afterwards, even though it wasn't intended as a deception. It felt like it became such. So what's the goal with this slight little speech that I am doing right now? Because I realized I'm gonna go to the stream now. I'm going to die to myself and bring you the good news of the Lord and put myself out there for you. But I don't want to fake it. And I'm not saying that people who does deny themselves and go out there are many numerous occasions where I die to myself and I go out there meeting my family, meeting people, and keeping my rubbish to myself. And what I mean by rubbish, I don't mean the crappy stuff. Sorry, that's probably a bad word too. The bad, not the sinful stuff. I'm not talking about, but the difficulties, the hardship that's going on in my life. I do tend to put them away for the sake of other people, and sometimes we should. But I felt today I was just gonna go in and just tell you know what? That's not always the case. And despite what it might look like within the initial beginning that I am giving you today, instead of just clean reading, or at least the attempt for a really clean reading, is to tell you that, because I think you need to know, and I stand firm by what I've said, despite the fact that the world is unpredictable now. I don't even know what will be next. And despite what it actually does look like, I don't fear the state of the world. I don't worry about that stuff. I just don't. I'm fully aware of what's going on. And I'm fully aware that USA is now thinking about going in and taking Greenland, which is almost like they're attacking Norway, because Denmark and Sweden and Norway. When I say we are like brothers, I'm not making that up. Yes, we are 3 different countries, but we are kind of like family in an insanely weird way. We are very connected. Yeah, we used to be enemies. In the back old days, far back in the day, we used to fight each other. Before my time, like 200, 300 years ago, we used to fight each other with kings, and we even have I wouldn't actually call it a celebration, but we have a memorial for somebody who brought Norway to be what it is. He was honored by many for taking Norway back. Does it make it right? No. But this isn't a stream where I'm going on about that. I'm just telling you that I'm not worried about that stuff. Not even close. So what is it that is heavily on my mind? What is it that dawns on me? For about 6 years now. It will be 6 years. 6 years this year. Me and my wife have tried for family reunion, and all we have had is obstacles. Obstacles in every single way. I'm not gonna go into all of them, but to give you the short version, we have had... We got married in 2019. I was there for a few months. Kind of forcefully, but chosen to be willingly. I was forced out of my job before that. And I acknowledge, yeah, I shouldn't have prayed for people in the post office. In my store that had a post office at the time. I still think they do. I don't regret it because the guy was met with the Holy Spirit and was changed. But I shouldn't have done it. And I'm aware of that. I've grown some since then. I'm not doing that again at my workplace where I work now. But not because I'm afraid, but there are other ways to witness. When the opportunity arises, I still do that, but not within work. So, where am I actually going with this? I don't know. I'm just giving you the pure, simple, broken and restored Thor in... Yes, my name is actually Thor, so I'm not that Thor, but whatever. Because... So I had to quit that job all those years ago. And then I kind of came back to Norway. And I struggled to find a job because, well, that's when the massive flu came. The sea flu, whatever you want to call it. I say that now because I don't know how often. I don't know if... Well, COVID. So, I couldn't find a job or anything, and and in our case, some of the borders that actually allowed us to actually meet each other were actually closed. Like literally closed. We had to fly through the exact areas of Europe. This was long before there was even a war, so there was like, for example, like Russia, Poland, and all of these things. Like that was, yeah, we had to fly through these exact areas to actually meet each other. So the border was closed. We couldn't actually see each other for 3 years. I kept looking. We still had money. We still had food on the table, thanks to the help I got from my country, because I live in a good country. Yeah, I know. But well, she was down there, and then I got a job. It was kind of like a temporary thing where the government paid my employee to get me into work. And this person was like, yes, I will give him a job in a month. And he kept going for a year until I said, but look, this has been going on for 12 months now. I can't continue like this. I need a job. I need a job. I don't just need an income. I need a job. I need a steady. And thankfully, the person that I had in Nav, he saw my situation and gave this employee an ultimatum. Look, either you give him a job or he needs to find another place, because this is not working. So then I got another place, and I was about to become a owner of my own shop. It went that well. Then I had an accident at work, an accident that I've never had in my entire life, where I don't know the words in English, but there was a nerve inside my body. Back and cross rope or something. I'm literally translating directly from Norwegian to English, so it doesn't work. But there was something, and I was told by my doctor that it would have been easier for you if you had broken your foot. Because theoretically speaking, my foot will never, ever recover properly. But I can train it to work without it. It was such a severe injury that I was even asked, are you playing football? Because if you do, you have to make a surgery or you can never play football again. But I don't play football. I have played football for fun after that, a little bit with people. But I never play football. I don't care about it. I even said I am not supposed to play football because of my foot. I have an excuse, a loving thing. Kind of like a joking thing, but like, anyway, like, my whole point with this is, where am I going with all of this? Well, that pain and the trauma of that pain even went to my head. So my brain went into overdrive and over-collapsed. So I became unable to work 100%. I still refuse to give up. I will still continue, carry on, and get to a place where I can work 100%, because I believe that is part of my calling, to work for the blessing of others. All glory to the Lord. I used to steal from people. And by manipulatively getting, I deceive people criminally. Doesn't matter if it's big or small, I did. So I wasn't as great and amazing guy before I met the Lord. Even though most people thought of me like the best, the one most wondered, oh, you're such a good guy, blah, blah, blah. It was all fake. And if there are tendencies to that in my flesh, then so be it. Let them come forth and for all to see. And I mean that. I'm just a guy who genuinely believed that he met the Lord and wants to be a better person because of what he did to me on that cross. Under no circumstances do I wish to try to be something I am not. So the good news is, I felt led by the Spirit to go back to Haugesund. Even my doctor said so after I felt so. Because it was better to be surrounded by people I love and my friends and some of the good families I have. So I was sick for almost a year, almost 2 years. Trying to work. My brain kept getting worse and worse and worse. And then I come back to a workplace I had been before, but not that one, but the one that I had been through the trials of getting back into work, because it was a process getting back into work. And it was mostly in here, to be honest. The injury in my foot that was finished in a month. The doctor said, I guess the protection that you had on your foot, it worked. I was like, thinking to myself, I didn't use it. I was one of those dumb people that didn't use it. I was just hoping and giving it to God, and like, I didn't say that, but I was thinking to myself, I'll take that as a miracle. But happy tears, by the way. And then I get this opportunity to, and I'm not gonna give you a success story, actually, but I begin at this person again that I was trying to get back into work at. I was like, it was so appreciated that he gave me a chance again. It was unpaid work because the government kind of paid me little to get me back into work. So he ends up quitting and getting a shop in another place. And I end up working for my family. The part of my family that wasn't ever any good. Not because they were not good, but there was family drama there. And I see that it hasn't carried on to my cousins, because I am now working for my cousins. Something that I would never have done if I had known that they would take over. But I guess in a way God saw things differently than me. And all I want to tell you is that a few days ago, not a few days ago, but I want it to be a few days ago because it feels like it's longer. I discovered that I hadn't earned enough. And I'm not asking for collect, just forget about it. If that's where you think this conversation is going, then look at my streams, no. For God's sake, keep your money to yourself. And here is the reality. Even if somebody were, that's not an income. That's a blessing. So according to the rules and regulations, I would have to have earned 80,000 more than what I currently earn this year. So yet again, we didn't manage to do it. Despite what anyone wants to say, it isn't because we haven't tried. We've been trying for 6 years to make it happen. And we keep relying, we keep having faith that the Lord will get us out of it. We know with every fiber of our beings that if we just give up, and maybe we will, I don't know. Right now, I can't tell you that. But in this moment, right now, we haven't given up. We are emotionally destroyed, broken. And that's where I'm gonna leave the we and continue about the I. I am unsure of what the future will bring. But I know one thing. If I don't get a clear signal that we will be together this year, I am moving down there to the Dominican Republic, which means it might not be a good thing. It might ruin us even more. But I have not given up. Not yet. I've even come to a point where, if that's giving up, so be it. You use me down there, God. Because this is enough already. This is 6 years. And I have seen God do so many amazing and wonderful things. So many unbelievable things. I've seen money come into my bank account without a sender. And I don't care if you believe me or not. It didn't come from anywhere. I got a rejection from my bank that there was no money. Then there was money. I went in to put money over to my bank to pay something. And I realized there was no money there. And I went home and I was like, God, what am I supposed to do? And I go in to my bank in brokenness. And there is money there. And no, it wasn't there before. It doesn't matter what anyone will say. I know what I saw. I've experienced God getting papers through within 5 seconds that should have taken a week. I've ordered documents that should have taken a week. 2 different things. No, the same thing, sorry. The same thing. It's like from 2 different angles. I ordered the documents. And I just went, keep your money to yourself. I don't want it. This is not a collection speech. Because I know how people react. Anyway, I get to my head and I go and bless somebody. Fine, like in anger, fight. If you're gonna ruin it for me, the devil. Kind of the reaction I had. Whether it's correct or right, I don't know. And I go to a coffee shop and I bless somebody. I buy a coffee to 30 nook. Just about $3. 6 years ago. And I gave the person 100 NOK or something like that, which is, I think, that's $10. I think so. So $1. So 1 NOK is $7 approximately. So yeah, you usually add a 0 to it and then you have it approximately correct. So I was like, so yeah, about more. If you had a 0 to it, I guess it was almost, no, not 1,000. I actually don't know. But 100 NOK. There was like $700 or something like that. And don't quote me on that, because by all means quote me on that and make it right. But I don't really want to bother going in and checking it, because it's going to take extra time right now. But it's a lot of money for a cup of coffee. But we didn't have much. And then when I come home, I have the paper. I just ordered it that day. You told me. The post office in this country is not that fast. And I have so many stories and so many things like this that I've experienced, so I know God can do it. I know God is faithful. And I know God can do amazing things that I can never see or comprehend how and why. I know He's faithful because He's shown it on so many multiple occasions. But it doesn't make it easier. It doesn't make it easier. Being married and not being able to be with your wife for 6 years properly is worse than being single, because you have it but you can't have it. You've already been given it, but you don't have it. It's like you have a mockery on the side. I don't see it like that, but I'm trying to express how hard and difficult. And I was single, so I know how it was to be single. Well, maybe not, because back then I was so selfish that it was all about me and I loved myself. So maybe not. But yeah. So I guess that went on longer than I thought, and I'm sorry. This is the person sitting in front of the camera. A person that is real and genuine. And that smile, that smile that you saw coming forth so many times, that's just as genuine. Because I know God. We are gonna do something a little different today. We're going to Proverbs. I don't remember what it is here. It's the 20th. Chapter 20. Wine is a mocker, and a beer a brawler. Whoever is led astray by them is not wise. A king's wrath strikes terror. Like the roar of a lion, those who anger him forfeit their lives. It is to the one's honor to avoid strife, but every fool is quick to quarrel. Sluggards do not plow in season, so harvest time they look, but find nothing. The purpose of a person's heart are deep waters. But one who has insight draws them out. Many claim to have unfailing love, but a faithful person who can find. The righteous lead blameless lives. I certainly don't. Blessed are their children after them. When a king sits on his throne to judge, he winnows out all evil with his eyes. Who can say, I have kept my heart pure, I am clean and without sin? Differing weight and differing measures, the Lord detests them both. Even small children are known by their actions. So is their conduct really pure and upright. Ears that hear and eyes that see, the Lord has made them both. Do not love sleep, or you will grow poor. Stay awake, and you will have food to spare. It's no good, says the buyer. Then goes off and boasts about the purchase. Gold there is, and rubies in abundance, but lips that speak knowledge are a rare jewel. Take the garment of one who puts up security for a stranger. Hold it in pledge. If it is done for an outsider, food gained by fraud tastes sweet, but one ends up with a mouthful of gravel. Plans are established by seeking advice, so if you wage war, obtain guidance. A gossip betrays confidence, so avoid anyone who talks too much. If someone curses their father or mother, their lamp will be snuffed out in pitch darkness. An inheritance claimed too soon will not be blessed at the end. Do not say, I'll pay you back for this wrong. Wait for the Lord, and He will avenge you. And He helped me forgive the lady who prevented me from actually getting a job, by the way. I wasn't able to do that on my own. The Lord detests differing weights, and dishonest scales do not please Him. A person's steps are directed by the Lord. How then can anyone understand their own way? It's a trap to dedicate something rashly, and only later to consider one's vows. A wise king winnows out the wicked. He drives the threshing wheel over them. A human spirit is the lamp of the Lord, that sheds light on one's inmost being. Love and faithfulness keep a king safe through love. His throne is made secure. The glory of young men is their strength. Gray hair and splendor of the old. Blows and wounds scrub away evil. And beatings purge the inmost being. I didn't prepare this, by the way. Forgot to put the water on. Just let me pick up my coffee. whatever you go through, even if you have these moments where you're sad and broken, then it's still. I'll said to somebody this morning, I guess I shouldn't have said it in that way, but I'm gonna say it anyway, because when the S storm strikes, when the dirt storm strikes, where do you go? When all your hopes and dreams are gone, where do you go? When you see nothing but despair and brokenness in front of you, where do you go? When you have when you have nowhere left to run, where do you go? I go to the Lord. And that's why you almost always see a smile on my face. Am I potentially trying to convince myself? Yeah. But I believe it. I believe that no matter what you're going through, no matter how hard things are, you shouldn't give up. You should not give up. Seek out help, seek out friends, seek out something. Find your anchor. If you refuse to let it be, or you don't want it to be God. Then find something else. But if you think there might be something to those non-condemnational, judgmental, want to try to be genuine believers out there, those who actually try to be better, then maybe Jesus isn't as bad as he looks, or as you have been told. Maybe he doesn't represent the foolishness of other people that pretends to be of the Lord, that pretends to be something they are not. Maybe he does not represent any of them. And if that is the case, then perhaps the red is worth reading. Jesus spoke to them again in parables, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding banquet for his son. He sent his servant to those who had been invited to the banquet to tell them to come, but they refused to come. Then he sent some more servants and said, tell those who have been invited that I have prepared my dinner. My oxen, fattened cattle have been butchered, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding banquet. But they paid no attention and went off. One to his field, another to his business. The rest seized his servants, mistreated them, and killed them. The king was enraged. He sent his army and destroyed those Twitch. The king welcome to the stream. Then he sent some more servants and said, tell those who have been invited. Sorry, I just noticed that Twitch went unstable again. Beautifully amazing Twitch. I see that it's stable in YouTube. So that's something. I don't know what it is with Twitch. I've even used OBS. OBS to give it a perfect setting, automatic stuff, but yeah. Let me check one thing. So if you are listening, you might lose connection for about 5 to 10 seconds. I am switching off. I was watching something on Pluto TV yesterday. So let's just check now. Come to the wedding banquet, but they paid no attention and went off. One to his field, another to his business. The rest seized his servants, mistreated them, and killed them. The king was enraged. He sent his army and destroyed those murderers and burned their city. Then he said to his servant, the wedding banquet is ready, but those I invited did not deserve to come. So go to the street corners and invite to the banquet anyone you find. So the servants went out into the streets and gathered all the people they could find. So the servants went out in the bad as well as the good, and the wedding hall was filled with guests. But when the king came to see the guests, he noticed a man there who was not wearing wedding clothes. Then the king told the attendants, tie him hand and foot and throw him outside into the darkness. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, for many are invited, but few are chosen. Paying the imperial tax to Caesar. Then the Pharisees went out and laid plans to trap in his words. They sent their disciples to him along with the Herodians. Teacher, they said, we know that you are a man of integrity and that you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. You aren't swayed by others because you pay no attention to who they are. Tell us then, what is your opinion? It's right to pay the imperial tax to Caesar or not. But Jesus, knowing their evil intent, said, hypocrites, why are you trying to trap me? Show me the coin used for paying taxes. paying the tax. They brought him the denarius, and he asked them, "Whose image is this? And whose inscription?" "Caesar," they replied. Then he said to them, "So give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's." When they heard this, they were amazed, so they left him and went away. Marriage at the resurrection. That same day, the Sadducees, who say there is no resurrection, came to him with a question. "Teacher," they said, "Moses told us that if a man dies without having children, his brother must marry the widow and raise an offspring for him. Now there were 7 brothers among us. The first one married and died, and since he had no children, he left his wife to his brother. The same thing happened to the second, the third, right on down to the 7th. Finally, the woman died. And then at the resurrection, whose wife will she be of the 7, since all of them were married to her?" Jesus replied, "You are in error, because you do not know Scripture or the power of God. At the resurrection, people will neither marry nor be given in marriage. They will be like the angels in heaven. But about the resurrection of the dead, have you not read what God said to you? 'I am the God of Abraham, I am the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.' He is not the God of the dead, but of the living." But when the crowds heard this, they were astonished at his teaching. Hearing that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, the Pharisees got together. One of them, an expert in the law, tested him with these questions. "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All of the law and the prophets hang on these 2 commandments." While the Pharisees were gathered together, Jesus asked them, "What do you think about the Messiah? Whose son is he?" "The son of David," they replied. He said to them, "How is it then that David, speaking in the Spirit, calls him Lord? For he says, 'The Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I put your enemies under your feet.' If then David calls him Lord, how can he be his son?" If then David calls him Lord, how can he be his son? No one could say a word in reply, and from that day on, no one dared. And from that day on, no one dared to ask him any questions. A warning against hypocrisy. Chapter 23. Then Jesus said to the crowds and his disciples, the teachers of the law and the Pharisees, "Sit in Moses' seat, so you must be careful to do everything they tell you, but do not do what they do, for they do not practice what they preach. They tie up heavy, cumbersome loads and put them on the other people's shoulder, but they themselves are not willing to lift a finger to move them. Everything they do is done for people to see. They make their phylacteries wide and tassels on their garments long. They love the place of honor at banquets and the most important seats in the synagogue. They love to be greeted with respect in the marketplace, to be called rabbi by others. By the way, thank you so much for the follow, Nanaki. I didn't actually see it. I heard a sound, but I think I've changed something in my setting because it was a sound I didn't recognize. So I am so sorry for that. I am very grateful for your follow, and thank you so much. They love the place of. They love to tassel on the garments, and they love place of honor at banquets and the most important seats in the synagogues. They love to be greeted with respect in the marketplace and to be called rabbi by others. But you are not to be called rabbi, for you have one teacher, and you are all brothers. And do not call anyone on earth Father, for you have one Father, and he is in heaven. Nor are you to be called instructors, for you have one instructor, the Messiah. The greatest among you will be your servant, for those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be excited. May the Lord guide me in this reading. Who humble themselves will be exalted. Whatever you go through, never give up, because life is worth the struggles. 7 wows on the teachers of the law. The Bible didn't say that, just kind of came out. 7 woes on the teachers of the law and the Pharisees. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You shut the door of the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. You yourselves do not enter, nor will you let those enter who are trying to. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You travel over land and sea to win a single convert. And when you have succeeded, you make them twice as much a child of hell as you are. Woe to you, blind guides! You say if anyone swears by the temple, it means nothing, but anyone who swears by the gold of the temple is bound by that oath. You blind fools, which is greater, the gold or the temple that makes the gold scattered? You say if anyone swears by the altar, it means nothing, but if anyone who swears by the gift of the altar is bound by that oath. You blind men, which is greater, the gift or the altar that makes the gift sacred? Therefore anyone who swears by the altar swears by it and by everything on it. And anyone who swears by the temple swears by it and by the one who dwells in it. And anyone who swears by the seven swears by swears by heaven, swears by God's throne and by the one who sits on it. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You give a tenth of your spice, mint, dill, and cumin, but you have neglected the more important matters of the law: justice, mercy, faithfulness. You should have practiced the latter without neglecting the former. You blind guides! You strain out the gaunt but allows a camel. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they are full of greed and self-indulgence. Blind Pharisees, first clean the inside of the cup and dish, and then the outside will also be clean. which look beautiful on the outside. You clean the inside of the cup, and then here, woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside full of the bones of the dead and everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness. Woe to you, teacher of the law, Pharisees, you hypocrites! You build tombs for the prophets and decorate the graves of the righteous. And you say, if we had lived in the days of our ancestors, we would not have taken part with them, shedding the blood of the prophets. So you testify against yourself that you are the descendants of those who murdered the prophets. Go ahead then and complete what your ancestors started. You snakes, you brood of vipers, how will you escape being condemned to hell? He's talking to some specific people here. Therefore I am sending you prophets and sages and teachers. Some of them you will kill and crucify. Others you will flog in the synagogues and pursue them town to town. And so upon you will come all the righteous blood that has been shed on earth, from the blood of the righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the temple and the altar. Truly I tell you, all this will come on this generation. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you who killed the prophets and stoned those sent to you, how often have I longed to gather your children together, as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, and you were willing, and you were not willing. Look, your house is left to you desolate. For I tell you, you will not see me again until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. I just realized something. That's fascinating. He actually kept that promise. Jesus left the temple and was walking away when his disciple came to him to call his attention to its buildings. Do you see all these things? He asked. Truly I tell you, not one stone here will be left on another. Everyone will be thrown down. As Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately. Tell us, they said, when will this happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? Jesus answered, Watch out that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, claiming I am the Messiah, and will deceive many. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nations, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains. Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death. And you will be hated by all the nations because of me. At that time many will turn away from the faith and will betray and hate each other, and many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. And these gospels of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. So when you see standing in the holy place the abomination that causes desolation, spoken of through the prophet Daniel, let the reader understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let no one on the housetop go down to take anything out of the house. Let no one in the field go back to get their cloak. How dreadful it will be on those days for pregnant women and nursing mothers. Pray that your flight will not take place in winter or on the Sabbath, for then there will be great distress unequaled from the beginning. For there will be great distress unequaled from the beginning of the world until now, and never to be equaled again. If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive, but for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. At that time, if anyone says to you, look, there is Messiah, or there he is, do not believe it. For false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. See, I have told you ahead of time, so if anyone tells you, there he is out there in the wilderness, do not go out. Or here he is in the inner rooms, do not believe it. For as lightning that comes from the east is visible even in the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. Where there is a carcass, there the vultures will gather immediately after the distress of those days. The sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from the sky and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. Then will appear the sign of the Son of the Man in heaven, and then all the people of the earth will mourn when they see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory, and he will send his angels with loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. Now learn these lessons from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that the summer is near. Even so, when you see all these things, you know that it is near, right at the door. Truly I tell you, this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. But about that day or hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark, and they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken and another left. Two women will be grinding with a hand mill. One will be taken and the other left. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know what day your Lord will come. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known at that time of night the thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would not have left his house. be broken into. You also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. Who then is the faithful and wise servant whom the master has put in charge of the servants in his household, to give them their food at the proper time? It will be good for that servant whose master finds him doing so when he returns. Truly, I tell you, he will put him in charge of all his possessions. But suppose that servant is wicked. Is wicked and eat and drink with drunkards. The master of that servant will come one day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he is not aware of. He will cut him to pieces and assign him a place with the hypocrites, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. The parable of the 10 virgins. I was looking at the time because technically it should finish, but I see we have 1 chapter left. So I'm going to finish this chapter and I'm going to immediately end. I'm not going to take any time to say or discuss anything because I need to make a few phone calls to the government and UDE and a bunch of stuff. At that time, the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps but did not take any oil with them. The wise ones, however, took oil in jars along with their lamps. The bridegroom was a long time in coming, and they all became drowsy and fell asleep. At midnight the crying rang out, Here's the bridegroom, come out and meet him. Then all the virgins woke up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish ones said to the wise, Give us some of your oil, our lamps are going out. No, they replied, there may not be enough for both of us and you. Instead, go to those who sell oil and buy some for yourself. But while they were on their way, to highlight that one, I saw something that made me think. Not the usual one. Go to those who sell oil and buy some for yourself. But while they were on their way to buy the oil, the bridegroom arrived. The virgins who were ready went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later the others also came. Lord, Lord, they said, open the door for us. But he replied, Truly I tell you, I don't know you. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour. Parable of the bags of gold. Again, it will be like a man on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. So also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The men who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more. His master replied, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. His master replied, "Well done, good and..." The man with 2 bags of gold also came. "Master," he said, "you entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I have gained 2 more." His master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." Then the man who had received 1 bag of gold came. "Master," he said, "I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid and went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you." His master replied, "You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. Well then, you should have put my money on the deposit with bankers, so that when I return I would have received it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever will be given more, they will have abundance. Whoever does not have even what they have will be taken from them. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Where the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glory throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will be separated, the people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those who is on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance at the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. The righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you? Sorry, I'm gonna read that one again. When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people from one another as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. The king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invited you in, or needing clothes and clothed you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?" The king will reply, "Truly I tell you, don't know if you noticed that. Now, he has referred to himself on many occasions as the Son of Man, right? And then suddenly just shifted. When did you see the sick or in prison to visit you? Then the king will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. Then he will say to those on his left, depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me. They will also answer, Lord, when did we see you hungry, or thirsty, or a stranger, or needing clothes, or sick in prison? He will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. Then they will go away to eternal punishment, but the righteous don't. Now, to which I'm reading something from a book. Okay, I'm not judgmenting anyone. I'm not attacking one. I'm not talking about the K word. Okay, I'm not talking about the M word. I will not do anything like that. I am just reading something. Because there are so many things here that we need to discuss and talk about. Anyway, for the people watching, I love you and I hope you have an amazing and a wonderful day. I need to end the stream now because I need to call the tax office. Not the same as in America, but about stuff. Yeah. Love you all. Bye-bye. I will be back. I will try my very best to be back at the timing of what I said in the game. I hope to God that I will be able to, but... Oh, and sorry for this mixing the camera. I bought a Temu. Let's see if it's good. But they had really good reviews and all that kind of stuff. And I would love the controversy if it would actually be good. Microphone stand and stuff like that. We'll see. So anyway, bye-bye.